All right, everybody ready? We're going to start off with the big brush. And we're going to start off with the yellow paint. Okay, don't do this yet, but you're going to get some yellow. Okay, you're going to kind of find about the halfway point on your canvas. Okay, doesn't have to be exact, but and then then you have that bottom half right down here. So you're going to find the half again between the top, from the middle and the bottom. Okay. Once you do that, you're going to move in about an inch or two, and you're just going to put a little yellow dot. So let's do that on each side. Try to make them straight, but they don't have to be because you're not doing a straight line. So you'll have a yellow dot on each side. So from there, we're going to just do like a little arc like this. Okay. So that's going to be the outer part. It's like a little half circle, but not quite a circle. You're just going to go like that on both sides, but it's going to go on the other way. I'll move this a little closer so you guys can see it. Now it needs to be pretty big, so don't make it small. This is if you look over there, see the brim of the hat over there where it's folded up? That's what this is. So we want it to be pretty big. It should go almost halfway up to the halfway point on your page is where you should be ending. Okay. All right, everybody ready? So the next thing we're going to do is you're going to start on this side. I'm going to round that one off a little bit more because I'm doing it from an angle. Now you're going to join the two top sides. When you do it, you're going to do an arc like this. Like that. Don't worry about the line being super. This is just a sketch line, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So next, we're going to do the same exact thing on the bottom one. So you want to try to match your curve that you just did on the top. So kind of try to do the same curve. It doesn't have to be, but try to get as close as you can. That way you'll get as close as you can. If that makes any sense. So really you're almost making a rainbow shape with the two lines. It'll make like a rainbow. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start not out here where the big part of the curve is, where you kind of came back in, like about right here. And you're going to do one little swooshy line out and then in. Then you're going to curve back out, curve back, and you're going to meet at the top like that. So almost making like a big wavy S. So you're going to start down here. You're going to go up and go in. Then you're going to curve back out and then back into the middle again. If you look up there, you can kind of see what we're doing. We're just doing the edge of the hat. Yeah, good. Best thing to do is just do it. Don't think too much about it. We'll be able to clean this up a little bit with the blue, so don't worry about it not. So now, you're going to take that just over the top like that and just lift off. Like just curve it around the top and lift off. So the other side, we're going to do the same thing we did over here, except it's going to be a little different. We're not going to have as much of an S. You're just going to start here. You're going to do one big curve out and then curve up to meet the top one like that. Almost like top of an ice cream cone. This is just a starting point, so don't freak out too bad. There's plenty of time for that later, as I said. Now for this next part, you'll want to set your canvas up on the little notch on the top of your easel. It'll set up there if you set it right on the back of the wood. Okay. Now when you do this part, you'll want to hold your canvas because it is a little loose on top. So we're going to go down to the bottom. Excuse me. And where this ends right here in the turn, you're going to leave about an inch of space. Then you're just going to do a little curve down on each side, like that. For the next part, this part's probably the hardest part of the whole thing, just to get going. So this next part is you're going to do a curve down on this one. Now, inside of there is going to be the face. So mine's kind of low, so I'm not going to have too much scarf on here, but I am going to go down pretty far so we can see his face. So can everybody kind of see? All you're doing is a curve underneath. His face is really going to be hidden by. Okay, now the easy part. Now we just fill all of this in yellow and all of this in yellow. Okay? Remember on that bottom part to do underneath your canvas on the bottom. That way when you are so proud of your painting and you hang it up, you don't have that white border on there.
I took down last week, and this is going to replace that. There's one in my office if it comes out. Yeah.
Once you are done with that, you can clean your brush out. Pat yourselves on the back and take a deep breath. Just get more paint on your brush if you start to run out, instead of trying to spread the paint out, because this acrylic paint, it'll start pulling it back off of the canvas. Guess what? We're using a big brush still. Haha, surprise, surprise. Okay, now we're moving to the navy blue, the dark blue, but this part's not too bad either. But for now, we're going to use blue, okay? And we are going to paint everything on the outside blue. Now, before you start, you don't want to paint in here. You want to stop there. So you don't want to go into his face. So stop there. And we're using the big brush, so when you're using the big brush, paint close to him, but don't paint right onto him, because then we'll get the medium brush and go in and go right beside it, and it'll make a nice clean line, okay? So just paint around everywhere, but only get so close with the big brush, about like that, okay? And don't forget to do your sides and your top. one more quick thing. When you're first putting your paint on, it's fine to do like little strokes like this. But when you go to put your last coat on, because you're going to find you're going to have little brush stops there. So when you do it, if you go all the way down, come all the way back, you won't have those little white places in there where you start and stop. And the sides is what I meant to say, not the bottom. Okay, if everybody will look up here for just 1 second. You don't have to stop. Well, if you want to look up here, you do. I'm just going to show you a little trick with the medium brush when you're doing the, can everybody see? Can I have you just, thanks, just for 1 second. Okay. I'm going to hold this with the fat part of the brush, not the thin. If you hold it vertical, it's thinner, right? But I'm going to hold it this way, so I'm using the fat part. Start over here a little bit, and when you push down, you're going to get a nice clean line like that. Then once you start to run out of paint, you can either turn the brush around, which will probably still have some more brush on that side, or you're just going to get more paint. See how I ran out? So if you push down, you're going to get a pretty nice line on it. The problem with using that little brush on this is that it makes a lot of grooves and doesn't look as good to me. If you guys want to look up just 1 second, I'm going to, my face is really too small here for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take white. I'm going to start down here. And I'm just going to make a bigger arc because my yellow is dry now. Yours might not be. If it isn't, just wait until it is. I'm going to make a bigger arc. And mine's actually still a little wet there, so I'm going to wait again. Then I'm going to fill that in. That way his face is a little more in depth to it. Okay. Huh? Yeah, that's true. We could have done it. Okay, so what we're going to do first is, over here on the left side, you know how you have that right there where the brim of the hat where it's folded up stops? Right there where we first stopped with that curve? Not that it really matters, but we're going to start there. You're just going to go down the side. You don't want any yellow showing. You're just going to go down, and then you're going to stop right where the yellow stops. Just like that. Okay? I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to show you one more thing real quick. After you do that, you're going to start there and go up. Now, once you start going around this turn, you're just going to lift off. And we lift off because if you just stop, you get a blob. So if you'll watch, I'm going to need to go up. And once I start around that turn, I'm just going to kind of go off. I ran out of paint, so I'm going to go over it again. There. And you just kind of give it a little bit of a shadow there going off that. So if everybody wants to do that part real quick, or not real quick, but if everyone wants to do that part. Okay, so now, everybody remember when we connected these two sides, we went like that? That's just what you're going to do with the orange. It's going to go from one side to the other. Now, if you want to mark, if you want to say, okay, I want to go up, if you want to use this into your pencil and say, or brush and say, my high point's going to be right there, you can put a little dot there as a guide to aim for. So like now I'm going to aim for that dot. I'm going to curve up to it, then I'll curve back down. Don't worry if you run out of paint on the first one, just to get it in there. Then you can go back over it. Okay, so the first thing you do is on this right side where you stopped. You know how we went up and lifted off. Do the same thing here, but you're not going to go up as high. It's just a little one. Just a little one like that. Did everybody see that? I don't know if anybody was looking at me. It's just a little bit right here, and you lift off on that right side coming up. You don't go up as far as you did, just a little bit. Okay, the next one, since that one should be done. You're going to go on the bottom here. You're just going to go all the way across. Just do the yellow. If your white's still wet, just try to stay on the yellow, and you'll be okay. I'm really just pushing down on it right now. I am using pretty much the flat part, but my brush is just all discombobulated right now. It's not wanting to stay flat for me. Okay, on the other side, you're going to do the same thing you did up here. You're just going to do a small one, not a lot. Just to come up. Okay. We are going to use the medium brush again and dark blue paint. We're going to work on the scarf at the bottom. Okay. First thing we're going to do, let me put this up a little higher so everybody can see it. Okay. So you're going to find about the halfway point in the snowman's face. You're just going to move over a little bit. It's not an exact science. But I'm just going to put a little hump like this of blue, like that. Just a little arc. There's no right or wrong. This is just where the scarf folds over and comes out. So it can really go anywhere. There's no right or wrong on it. I stopped punishing people for scarf mistakes. Now this can go up into your white. You want this to go up into the white a little bit. You're out of blue? Okay, you can always touch up any places in the face. Once we get that nose in, we're pretty much done with the face. You can touch up after that, but then it won't matter because we won't need it anymore. Okay? Okay. Okay. So we're going to do another stripe. You want it to be about the same length and the same width, but you're going to leave like almost like there's a stripe of yellow between it. So it's going to kind of look like that. Now, if you have more, no, well, if you have more room down, okay. So now we're going to come over here to the left side, okay? Sorry. So however thick your stripes are, you're going to, so actually mine are really thinner, a lot thinner compared to my last one too, but I kind of like it, so I'm going to go with it. Now you have, the way your side is over here, see mine kind of changed a little bit the shape, and everybody's is different. But that's the way you want the curve to go, at least this first one. Now I'm going to skip some because I want yellow to be first, or else it'll blend in with the blue. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm just going to come down like that. I'm going to add a little bit more thickness to it. And they don't have to be exactly, obviously I didn't, but because fabric moves and gets folded over. So I did that one. Now I'll skip, since I made that yellow thicker, I'm going to keep it about the same. So I'm going to move here, just put another stripe in. Once you get in here, they don't have to follow the shape anymore because the fabric moves and the stripes would all look different. Then you're just going to, yeah, you go underneath too. Now when you get, everybody look here real quick, sorry. When you get over here to this scarf, don't go up into that. This is an imaginary line right there, so you don't want to go up above it. Same on this side, okay? Does that make sense? Probably best just to do all your stripes first before you go underneath. That way, if you don't, it's fine, but just save some time. Because then you can kind of lift it off and do it that way. And then don't forget to add one on the other side, at least one, depending on how wide your scarf is. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can either just do it with the medium, or you can do your first lines with a small brush. But here's what we're going to do. Is everybody ready? Okay. The best way to do a flying WV is you first do a W. So I'm going to do just a W. The lines are all the same height. So you can do this with the big brush or the little brush. Okay? So it's just a straight up, regular old W. Right now it almost looks like WWE, but starting it, but so that's the first thing you do. Next is the V. The V is a little trickier because it's got to come out. It comes down and then comes out to there. So it starts on the same line as the W, but when it comes back up, it's just on the outside of the W. Is everybody using the small brush?
Yeah.
All right, I'll switch to that. That way I'll do it that way. It's not easier for me, but it might be easier for you guys. I like it. I like the medium brush because you can do nice, straight, flat lines. The little brush makes wavy crap. But okay. That's good. It's all right. It doesn't have to be in the middle. Nobody can put their hats on straight. I can't. That's why I don't wear them. Kids don't wear them straight anyway. So it's okay. So if you're using the little brush, when you go to the W, you go to the top of it, and you're just going to draw a little box on the end like that. Same on the other side. And then the same thing at the bottom of the V. Can everybody see? Yeah, you guys are doing it. Doing it right. Now there's nothing on the left side of the V, just the right side. What? You're right. No, you're filling it in. That's fine. I just haven't done it yet. I'm going back to the other brush because I cannot stand that little brush for this. Yeah, that's why I usually use the big brush, because you don't even have to draw the box. You just do it, and it makes it already. But so basically, after I do that part, you can fill that in, and then if you use the medium brush, you can do this in one thing. You don't have to keep going over it. You just go right over top of your line. You go right over top of your line, and it'll make the nice thick part in one swipe if you have enough paint, which I didn't. The little line I made? Who said that? If you look up, you got to look up.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. You were just talking to yourself? You just go over the little line you made with the big one, and it makes it pretty decent. Now I am going back in with a little brush and just going to even out some of the points on mine.
I think I better clip on my head.
Plus my other brush is too wet. Go ahead and clean your brush out. We're going to go to the orange. Let's get this guy's nose out of the way. The medium, yep. This is easier than you think it's going to be. So you're just going to find the middle area. It doesn't have to be exact. No, the middle of his face. So you're just going to do that. You're going to do a circle, however big you want your nose to be. Mine's going to be like that. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Just do it, because you're going to clean it up in a minute. If you just like a circle, you can leave it as that too, but that's what we're starting off with. In the middle. In the middle, yep. I can say it again if you want. Bigger than that. You want it bigger than that. Okay? All right, so now what you're going to do is you want it to kind of angle up a little bit. So you're going to start on the top part of the circle. However long you want it to be, you're going to go out, and when you get to where you want to stop, just lift off. Then you're going to do the same thing on the bottom, wrap around and just meet up with that, and then you fill it in. Okay? You can try to get a nice little point if you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry and use the white to make the point. So actually, I'm going to make that a little bigger. The little brush, and we're going to do stars. Now, everybody remember how you used to do stars when you were a kid? You just kind of go like that. Well, that's how you're going to do this. So I'm going to start. You want your top point, though, to be where your hat is. So I'm going to start down here. And I'm going to do this without even stopping. I'm not going to get more paint. And so you just do that, and then you just fill it in. Okay? We're going to do 3 of them. One there, and you're going to do one up here. This one, you can do different sizes. It doesn't matter. This is just my sketch. So I'm sketching them all in. Then I'm going to go back in and paint them all and fill them all in with paint. Then I'm just going to put a small one down here near his hat. Now I'm using the medium brush to fill mine in because it's, first of all, it's faster, and second of all, I don't like that little brush all that much. If I don't have to use the little brush, I don't use it. Now, when you're filling these in, hey everybody, just real quick. When you're filling these in, you're not going to be able to make it so you can't see the blue the first time. You got to paint it. Don't add a bunch of paint. Paint over it, and we're going to let it dry and come back and do another one. But if you put a lot of paint on it, it's going to take about an hour to dry, and it's still not going to be covered, okay? So just paint it. If you can see the blue, that's fine. We're going to go back over it again. Alrighty. We're going to get the medium brush. Okay. And we're just basically adding a little bit of orange highlight like we did. So over here on the left side, you're just going to come down the side. Then you're going to go over. You're going to go over the top, not on this blue part, but just on the yellow. And you're just going to add a little bit on the yellow. You're going to skip the blue. So all I'm doing is just putting a little line of orange wherever the yellow is. If you are done with that, you can go ahead and add a second coat of white on your stars. They should be dry enough. If they're not all the way dry, they still be close enough. All right, now we're doing the fun part, the Mountaineers, if you want to do it. Now, okay, we're going to do I'm going to do the Mountaineers now. If you want to do that, you can. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Let's see, Mountaineers, 4, 8, 12. 12 letters in Mountaineers, so we need the A and the I are the center. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find about the middle of my hat. I'm going to put a little bit of well, I didn't really do anything, but I'll find that here in a minute. Definitely use a little brush on this one. Now even though you're using the little brush, even if you're using the little brush, if you push, it's going to make it fat because it's going to smush all the bristles down. So you want to be very light. This one, since a lot of everybody's is dry, except your orange, just be careful of your nose. You can actually turn the canvas down and write on it, okay, like you're writing on paper. That helps out a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the middle. So I'm going to just kind of put my finger there, okay? And I see the A and the I are what are in the middle. So I'm going to start on the left side and work back. So I'm going to put the A first. You can use any style you want. So I just did the A first. Then I'm just going to move backwards from that with all the letters. Now on my last one, I added that little football, but the only reason I added it is because I wasn't centered all the way. So I'm not adding it. I'm not adding it to this one. But if you want to add it, all you do is just do a little curved line, and fill it in, except for a little stripe in the middle. Okay, I gave everybody a little bit of black, except myself. We're just going to do the eyes real quick while other stuff's drying. Okay, so the best thing to do here is, remember that circle we drew for our nose? You want to find the middle, so that's your middle. Then you're going to put the eye in. You don't want to put it right where that is, but you want to go on one side, big or as round as you want, or however you want to do it. After you do that, you want the other one to be kind of the same distance from on the other side, if you can. If not, it's not that big a deal. Next, we're going to do snow, since we're still waiting for stars to dry. Is everybody's stars dry? Mine's not, so we're not doing those yet. Okay. For the snow, it's really easy. The hardest part about it is not making a pattern, because humans like patterns. It's built into our makeup. Yeah, snow behind it. So I'm using the little brush, because you can get little ones like that, and then if you push hard, you can get pretty big ones too. So you just want to kind of jump around. But the less you think about it, and the more you jump around, the better. So you're just going to jump around, push hard sometimes, push light, cluster some, spread some out. Do a few on the side of your painting as well, just to make it look like it's all one piece. So we're going to take the medium brush. Everybody have some yellow paint left? Okay. So all we're going to do is in the middle of your star, just going to put a little yellow circle. You can just do it like this, swirl your brush. You're going to do that in all of them. If it mixes with your white, if it's not dry, it's okay. It ain't hurting nothing. Then you can clean that brush out. Okay, I'm going to show the last step now. Well, you know, unless you're not done, but this, unless you've got some corrections to do. But on this one, you're going to use the small brush again, and all we're doing is a line inside the white star. It doesn't touch the edge of the white, it's just inside of it, so there's a little white on the outside. This is optional, obviously. It is blue. It doesn't take too much. The small brush. once you're done, you can sign that. Put it on the back. If you put it on the back, don't put it here. Put it on the wood so it doesn't show through.